Hi, everyone. My name is Megan Candelaria. I'm going to be your calculus instructor. Unfortunately, my kids and I have come down with COVID, and so I'm unable to come to class tomorrow, Wednesday. So we're not going to have class. We're going to do an online thing for this first week, which I know is not ideal. But in this video, I'm going to walk you through our course website, kind of talk through what you need to do for this week, and then hopefully we'll be back to our regular schedule on Monday. But until then, I appreciate you working with me. Um, Side note, I am at home with my two kids who are actually feeling much better than I am. So there's a good chance that I'm going to get interrupted. So bear with me. So our course on Canvas, if you don't know how to get to Canvas through LCCC, please let me know and I'm happy to walk you through that. But once you're in, go ahead and find our calculus class. I'm going to switch to student view. So I should be seeing the exact same things that you all see. Okay. And this is our homepage. Now, if you're accessing from a mobile device, it may not look exactly like this. And so you might want to go to the front page. They call it the front page if you're in the student version of Canvas on an iPad or an iPhone or anything like that. Once you go to that front page, that home page, it should look just like this. I've tried to make it really clear what everything is. And so, for example, here's our current announcement, the syllabus, all kinds of different things. I'm going to walk through each piece of this, hopefully quickly, because I don't want this to be an insanely long video. So first thing is the syllabus. I'm going to ask you to take a look at the syllabus. Okay, there's some basic course information. So stuff about the course, about myself, how to find me, how to contact me. Okay. Information about our course competencies, excuse me, and general education. Attendance policy. It is really important that you attend class. Obviously not if you're sick, as I am. But in general, you're going to get the most out of your class if you are there in class. Grading policy, you can see our grades will be based on homework, quizzes, semester exams, and a final exam. You can see the breakdown there. All right, information on coursework. There's a lot of information in here. There's information about Canvas, information about homeworks. We do written homeworks. I don't use an online system like my math lab or anything like that. For me, it just gives me better feedback on how you guys are doing when I get to actually look at your work. It also allows me to give you partial credit. So we do paper homeworks. I'll give you a paper homework almost every class and expect it to be returned to the next class. Okay. You will do problems out of the book as well. The book problems will not be graded, but they will be exclusively what your quizzes are taken from. So you'll know what your quizzes are going to be on. They're going to be on that book work. You do have to complete that book work. It will be checked for completion. But what I will actually grade and give feedback on is the written homework. And we'll look at an example homework here later on. There's some thoughts on homework here, so you can take a look at it. I say staple it, label, things like that, just things that make it easier for me to grade and give you the best feedback that I can. Homework should do at the beginning of class. You do get a 24-hour grace period for 5% penalty, so you can email it to me the next day. And then there are late penalties because I do publish solution sets for all of the students in class, and I can't publish the solution set until everyone has turned in their homework. Okay. Quizzes, there's two types of quizzes. There's online quizzes, which you obviously complete here in Canvas, and then exit quizzes. Those exit quizzes are based entirely on the book work. So the problems from the book that were on your homework, that's where the exit quizzes will come from. Online quizzes, well, they're here in Canvas and they're based on material that we've done, or they're a preview of upcoming material to kind of try and get you thinking. Exams, we've got 3 in-class exams and 1 final exam. You can see the course schedule for tentative dates. There's going to be a combination of in-class exams and take-home exams. Do be aware that the final will be cumulative, so look forward to that. So this is general information from LCCC about academic integrity, classroom behavior, things like this. Here's our tentative schedule. So you can kind of take a look at what we're going to be looking at there on the right. Different due dates, tentative exam dates, all of that good stuff there. Okay. All right. So that's all in our syllabus page. Resources. All right, resources are going to be really important. I'm actually going to come back to them here in a minute. They're that important. That's where you're going to get all of the extra stuff that you might need to help you complete assignments. Assignments right here. Okay, so you can see upcoming assignments, all the things that are coming up. So the things for our first 2 weeks are in here along with our exams, and I'll be updating other things as we go. Homeworks. So if I will pass out paper homeworks, but if you don't make it to class for some reason, you're responsible for coming and getting your homework here. Or for example, your review homework, you can find your review homework right here. You will have to print that one if you have access to a printer. That's the best way to do it. If you need to copy it and just write it on notebook paper, that's totally fine as well. Exam information. So this will have information about our exams. There'll be study guides, reviews, and practice problems here as we get closer to the exam. You can also see our tentative exam dates for all 4 exams here. I say tentative because it kind of depends on how quickly we move through. Any changes will be discussed in class. Quizzes. So like I mentioned, we have 2 types of quizzes. There's online quizzes. That's these guys here at the top. And then there's exit quizzes. Exit quizzes will in general be in class, with the exception of this week. You have an introductory survey for an exit quiz. And basically that just gives me some information about you. Please note that this is also how I will take attendance for the first week, is by doing this introductory survey. If you don't do that and don't contact me, you will be dropped for non-attendance. Discussions. We don't use discussions very much in this class. I am asking you to do an introductory discussion since we don't get to meet in person. It's real simple. Tell me about yourself, where you're from. You can meet your classmates this way. It's a good place to set up study groups if you're interested. And then I have a general ask the instructor, ask the class board, where you can post general questions that I or your classmates can answer about the class. Archived announcements. I do make use of announcements. You can see the only one we have right now is the welcome one that talks about how crazy this first week is going to be. If you want to learn more about me, you can click here. Just talks a little bit about my biography, my teaching philosophy. So you can take a look there. You can see my little germ monsters that caused us all to get COVID. And then of course, grades. You have access to the grade book 24/7. So anytime you want to know how you're doing, you should check here. You should always know how you're doing in class. And if you ever have any questions, please let me know. All right. So just a couple of general reminders over here on the right. This is your to-do list. It's all the things you need to do. So for example, it says, hey, you should read this announcement here. It says you need to do this introductory survey by Wednesday. It says by Sunday, you need to do these 2 things. You need to do the weekly quiz, and you need to do the introductory discussion. And then by Monday, you have to turn in your review homework. Okay. And then Wednesday, we'll have an exit quiz, and your second homework will be due. I'll pass out that second homework in class on Monday. This is a great place to check and see what you need to do. Another good place is over here on the left, the calendar. It's going to populate you a nice list right here. It's going to show you what is due when. So that's another really great place to look. All right. So, excuse me. The other thing I wanted to mention is this box here. This is a really important box. This is your resources box. Okay. So if I click on resources, this is broken down by weeks. Okay. So week 1, that's this week, right? Week 1, if I click on that, oh, look, there's a little note that says, hey, we're not having class because I have COVID. Awesome. And then there's assignments. So you can find all of the assignments that are due this week. If we do any in-class activities, they'll be posted here. We will do some in-class activities to help with our learning. And then review resources. This first week is review. So there's a bunch of resources here to help you with that review when you're completing that review homework and things like that. I especially like this first one, How to Ace Calculus, Chapter 5. Are you ready? This book is actually pretty funny. Hopefully you might enjoy it a little bit. And then if we scroll down week 2, so week 2, you can see we're going to be covering section 2.1, section 2.2, section 2.3, and section 2.5. And I've uploaded a ton of resources for there. There's some examples that I've done myself. There's some videos. There's some textbook readings. There's all kinds of things to help you. Now, of course, we're going to be going over this in class, but I also like to provide a lot of resources for you outside of class. And then again, you can see a list of assignments here. Okay, so that resources page is going to be really important. All right, so I hear a small person coming. I'm going to pause this real quick. Okay, so real quick, I just want to go through what you need to do instead of coming to class tomorrow. So make sure you read through the announcement right here. Okay, we've got an introductory survey here. Okay, there's 21 questions, but most of these questions are about you. So what do you prefer to be called? Just information in general about you. So this shouldn't be too bad. The last couple of questions do ask you to look at the syllabus. I just want to make sure that you're looking at that. So the last couple of questions ask you to look at the syllabus, but not so bad there. Okay. So announcement, introductory survey. Okay. And then our first weekly quiz. So this is kind of going to give you a taste for what the online quizzes will look like. Now this is all review. Okay, that's not true. The first 2 questions are not review topics. They ask you to look at these 2 documents. okay? But the rest of them are review questions. So trying to think about functional notation, domain and range, things like that. Basic slope intercept, finding the slope between 2 points, okay? These quizzes are open book, open note, so please feel free to use the resources that are on that resources page or old notes, our textbook, anything like that. Now, one thing I want to say about both the introductory, that first weekly quiz, and also the review homework, the review homework can be kind of tough because it's like asking you to review everything that you've learned in all your previous math classes, algebra, trig, okay? Some people find it challenging. Just realize that if you struggle with that, that doesn't mean you're not going to be successful in this class. You can still be a great calculus student and have a really successful year. You just might have to put a little bit of effort into reviewing some of those materials, and I am happy to help you do that. All right, so introductory discussion. Pretty basic, just says, hey, introduce yourself, say where you're from. And then your review homework. Okay, so let's look at this real quick. So your review homework, you will need to print this if you are able. Again, normally I will print them, but I am not there. If you can't print it, it's okay if you do it on a separate piece of paper, but please label things clearly. And again, this is review, so it's algebra and trig concepts. So domain and range, functional notation, composition and decomposition of functions, the difference quotient. So more things with how we think about functional notation, inverses, piecewise functions, logarithms, radians, basic trig stuff, and then a word problem, everybody's favorite. If you're having trouble with this, again, use those resources, but also feel free to email me. I will be checking my email, and I'm happy to record a quick video, try and answer your questions by email. We're going to get through this week together and hopefully go back to a more normal week next week. I really love teaching calculus, so I'm really bummed that I don't get to meet you all in person, but I'm excited to meet you all next week. Again, please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I'll be checking my email regularly. Thanks so much. Bye.